What's good with y'all? We back with it. 53-man roster just dropped yesterday, and then you also had practice squad players get signed. You had a couple claims take place, or we thought a couple was going to take place. It looks like we only got one right now. Let's dive straight into why you're here and why you clicked on this video. But first off, I want to say appreciate everyone who liked and commented on that last video, man, with Elijah Chapman. Elijah Chapman video has been doing great. So if you're new to the channel as well, man, we talk about Giants content all year round. And we got regular season coming up next week. Preseason's over with. We got training camp practices over with. We're heading into the regular season. So let's start off and start talking about the opening roster. And as you know, quarterback, they were going to bring three guys in here, right? Tommy DeVito ended up making the cut, and that's the only question mark that we kind of had at the quarterback position. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. With Drew Lock being banged up, they couldn't risk not having another quarterback on the roster, especially one that knows the system, knows how to run the plays. DeVito did that effectively last year, so you're looking to see if he can do that again this year. Hopefully we don't have to see him at all, but there's a chance that he might have to step in, and obviously you want a guy that's already been in the building versus a guy that hasn't. Now, the running back position, I was trying to find a way to get Turbo on this roster. So I was saying there's going to be 4 running backs on this roster, but ultimately they just selected 3. I can't hate them for it. We got Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, and Tyrone Tracy. Good news, though, Turbo is back on the practice squad. That was something that I was looking forward to. I'm glad he's going to be at least there. And if any injury takes place, you already know they're going to call up my man Turbo. And hopefully he gets a little bit more run in. I still think he has ability to make it on this team. But the running back position, pretty good. Eric Gray, he showed on the preseason and he showed why he should still be on this team. And here he is as RB3. So we love to see it. Now, going to the wide receiver position, this is kind of when it was up for grabs. Isaiah Hodgins got cut. He is back on the practice squad. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't get claimed anywhere else. But that honestly just shows that the way we value our players compared to how the rest of the league does, it's not that much. But Isaiah Hodgins got cut. Allen Robinson got cut. We got Bryce Ford Wheaton. Shout out to Bryce Ford Wheaton. He was another guy that I had made a big video on last year, talking about why we should really look forward to him being on this team. Tore his ACL, and he fought back, and now he made this roster for the time being. Jalen Hyatt, Malik Neighbors, no shockers there with Wandale and Darius Slayton. But Gunnar Olszewski made the team. Now, he's been having this injury go on all preseason. Clearly, he must be healthy enough to at least start the season because he's going to be out there returning kick returns and punt returns. Isaiah McKenzie is on season-ending IR, so whatever injury he has sustained in that last preseason game ultimately sidelined him for the whole year. I was really looking forward to see him, on this team, returning kick returns, punt returns, but also possibly being on the offense if an injury goes down. But McKenzie's going to be out all year. Tight end, they went ahead with Daniel Bellinger, Theo Johnson, and Chris Manhertz. Stahl, who used to come from the Eagles, he didn't make the squad. Offensive line, let's talk about it. Andrew Thomas, one of the captains on this team. Jermaine Illuminor, Josh Azudu made this team. Shocker. Jake Kubis, Evan Neal. We're going to have to find a spot for Evan Neal pretty soon. John Runyon, Austin Schlottman, backup center. John Michael Schmitz, Aaron Stinney, backup guard, and Greg Van Roten. So they went ahead and grabbed a couple old linemen and kept them on this team. Depth is the most important thing. The offensive line has been a revolving door. Hopefully we don't see that this year, but you always have to have some guys on there. So Austin Schlottman and Aaron Stinney making this team. I was thinking they were going to make one of those, especially with Jake Kubis making this team as well, but they like their depth, so I can't blame them. Defensive lineman, Elijah Chapman made the squad. Shout out to everyone that likes Elijah Chapman, and ultimately he played his butt off. Undrafted free agent, now he's making the opening day roster. You love to see it. Hopefully his play continues to trend well, and maybe he can become a household name. Maybe he can. We're already pretty high on Elijah Chapman. Hopefully he keeps it up. DJ Davison, Nunez Roches, and Jordan Riley made this defensive line. Now we're heading into kind of a thin area on both sides, on both position groups. Linebacker and DBs. Linebackers, they brought Bobby Okereke, Boogie Basham, Brian Burns, Carter Coughlin, Deontay Johnson, Micah McFadden, Darius Massow, our 7th rounder, Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Benton Whitley. Now, linebacker also means outside linebacker, which happens to be the edge guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and so far, and so much, right? Linebacker position. Right now, we are hurting. Micah McFadden has been struggling with an injury all preseason. Not only Micah McFadden, but Deontay Johnson has also been down with an injury with his ankle. That's been a big thing that's been going on as well. So the linebacker depth is pretty thin. They've been playing Isaiah Simmons alongside Bobby Okereke in certain packages. I don't think they want to do that on a down-out basis. But hopefully McFadden, gets himself right. Hopefully Micah McFadden gets healthy and he's able to hold down that, linebacker 2 spot. I really want to see at least one of those two guys there. But right now, week 1 is kind of in doubt. It's looking like Micah McFadden is getting close, but we want this guy to be 100%. He did leave that last preseason game or second to last preseason game. So that's something you don't want to see. DB, this is going to be where if this team's going to be good, the DBs are going to be stepping up, or if this team's going to be bad, they're going to be a problem. Deonte Banks, Dane Belton, Cordell Flott, Trey Hawkins, Nick McLeod, Tyler Nubin, Gervarius Owens, which, on this it says he's on there. Gervarius Owens did get cut, unfortunately. Drew Phillips, Jason Pinnock, and Isaiah Simmons. Now, Isaiah Simmons being listed as a DB tells you a lot. They're looking to use him in the slot. I don't know if it's in specific packages. Hopefully we don't see him on the field trying to guard a slot receiver. I think he's going to mainly just be a safety trying to guard tight ends. But when you look at it as well, there's a lot of youth on this team, good and bad thing. There's not a lot of guys that are vets that have been here before. Not a lot of guys that really stood out on any other defense. Tate Banks, of course, yes, he's had strides, but being a CB1 is something that he's going to be hopefully living up to the task. And I'm not necessarily too worried about Deonte Banks. I do think that he's going to progress and hopefully he plays a little bit better. I have a lot more faith in him than these other guys because Cordell Flott and Trey Hawkins is what I'm worried about. Nick McLeod was, when you look at that 2022 run when we made it to the playoffs and we won a game, he was a special teamer. He stepped in here and there, but he wasn't really that guy. So Nick McLeod might be that other starting DB. And we look at who we claimed on the waiver wire. It was Anthony Johnson from the Packers, another safety. So no cornerbacks have been, brought in. Still yet, it can happen. It can really happen. But right now, there's so much uncertainty with that cornerback position, man. There really is. There's so much uncertainty. So, we'll ultimately see how this team goes. But I think the DB room altogether, but the cornerback position specifically, that's where we're going to see if this team is going to sink or float. Or I guess, yeah, sink or float pretty much. Special teams, we got Jamie Gillian, Graham Gano, and Casey Kreider. Once again, nothing too shocking on this report. Not a lot of guys got cut that I didn't expect to get cut, except for guys like Isaiah Hodgins. But honestly, with the wide receiver position right now, I'm not surprised. There's a lot more competition this year than past years, and a lot more youth that's going to be filling up that room altogether. So the guys that are back on the practice squad, we did bring guys like KJ, the linebacker that had a lot of tackles in that last preseason game. Once again, Turbo Miller's back. Who else we got going on? Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver. So those are some of the popular names that are on that practice squad. The fullback, Jacob Johnson. I don't know if they Jacob Johnson is the fullback. He's on the practice squad, and I expect them to get elevated on game days. So some people are probably going to be inactive. But once again, man, all things are subject to change. Like I said, the cornerback position really has to be dealt with, and some guys are going to have to go if that happens. So we'll see what happens ultimately there. But I think Joe Schoen really needs to start looking into the cornerback position overall because, man, if there's any weak part that we're really worried about, it's that position. Outside of quarterback, offensive line, I think is going to play a lot better. This front four on this defense is going to be great, but we really need the DBs to step up. That's what it's really going to hinge on. But that's going to wrap up everything, man. Once again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. We got more Giants content coming through. And once again, regular season's right upon us, man. Next week's regular season, we're taking on that Vikings team. And listen, I think the Giants can really get that dub, but I'll save it for another video. And I'm letting you guys know right now, the day before the game, Saturday night, we're going live. I'm going to have a special guest with me, somebody that's going to be probably talking about the Vikings. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. I'm really excited for it, but I need all our Giants fandom. We need to sync up on that Saturday night and really be here for that live stream because I need it to represent. We got to represent for that live stream, man. I'll be talking about this in every video, but if you're seeing this and you stay to the end, I appreciate you. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.